It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Keatsman in the seat for the next hour leading up to the Vince Show on KCMO. We got a great show lined up for you today. I'm very excited about this, including in about 30 minutes, an example of how we know America, but we don't really know the rest of the world. You won't believe a story that I'm going to share with you in 30 minutes about something going on in Denmark, of all places. You think you know the world? We don't know the world. We know our world, and that's pretty much it. We've got stunning new information on applicants signing up to join ICE after the bonuses have been announced, and they're going to have a lot more applicants than jobs available as they look to hire 10,000 new workers at ICE. This is pretty cool stuff. And one of the hottest zip codes in America for housing, the number 4 hottest zip code in America, one of those is in Missouri. We'll let you know what that is today on Uncanceled. We'll start the show with a little shout out to our friends at Coaches vs. Cancer, who held a fundraising golf tournament yesterday at the National in Parkville. Patrick Toohey was in hosting this show yesterday, so I could take part in the festivities there. It was a very nice day for a golf tournament. They raised $100,000 for cancer research for Coaches vs. Cancer. We appreciate all the work that those folks put in on that and the sponsors that were involved in it, as it was a great day and a great time had by all. Cumulus Media, the parent company of a handful of radio stations here in this building, was a big corporate partner of this event. And you probably heard the spots, the commercials that were running for Coaches vs. Cancer over the last few weeks. We appreciate Cumulus being involved in that as a great cause. This is the one that Norm Stewart, the former Missouri basketball coach, started many years ago after he got cancer. And he started calling up all the other college basketball coaches around the country and said, we got to do something about cancer. And they started they had special games where they'd wear sneakers with their suits, which is now fashionable. But in those days, it was to draw attention to cancer research. Then Jim Valvano came along with the Jimmy V Foundation. There's been a lot of sports and basketball involved in all of this, and it goes on today. And this was only the second year they've had this tournament, this event in Kansas City. Normally, these events take place on the campuses or around a certain university, whether it be KU, MU, K-State, whatever. But this was for the whole city. And we had a nice day yesterday, and they believed they were going to raise about $100,000. We've got the subpoena list from James Comer, and I know Mundo went over that just a little while ago. It's fantastic. It's Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Merrick Garland, Jim Comey, Bill Barr, Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, Robert Mueller. They're all coming. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in the show as well. That has to do with the Epstein depositions. So all the people on the left who wanted the Epstein stuff to come out, James Comer says, fine, we're going to subpoena all these, mostly all liberals. We're going to bring them all in from the Obama era and the Clinton era, and we'll get them in here under subpoena, and we'll ask them what they think. Pretty nice little maneuver. But we start today with the story that I'm all in on. It has occurred to me over the last few months doing this radio show and getting feedback from callers to the show that I don't get doing a podcast. That's what I love about doing radio. The calls, the feedback, the immediacy of it all. It's occurred to me that while we're all on one team, we seem to have some differences over what is most important to go attack and do. You've heard me say a couple of times that the Epstein thing would not have been at the top of my list. I'm more concerned about how they ran our government without a president, because I don't think that's lawful, and why they didn't enact the 25th Amendment. I'm more concerned about that. I'm more concerned about tariffs and trade. I'm more concerned about closing the border. There are battles that are worth fighting. Which ones do we fight? Which ones do we not fight? And we've got one going on right now that I am all in on. And I have no idea. I think maybe I'm going the opposite of Pete here. I think I might have heard him say something earlier. I could be the opposite of a lot of you. I don't care. Okay, this one is real. There's a report out there today now that Mike Kehoe, the governor of Missouri, is on board with a Trump plan to try to redistrict the state of Missouri and go, there's 8 congressional seats in Missouri. 6 of them are currently Republicans, 2 are Democrats. And if they do this properly, they think they can flip that to 7-1. And you may say, well, that doesn't sound right. That's not really representative of whatever 38% of the people in Missouri that are Democrats or whatever it is that voted for Kamala Harris or whatever. But this is different. This isn't an Epstein case. This isn't some arrest this guy and, try them for this. And it's not that. This is politics. This is blood sport. And I'll give you an example of why this is coming up now. Texas is redistricting, and it looks like they're going to get this passed through, and there will be 5 more Republican congressmen next year out of Texas than there are congressmen or women, representatives from Texas, than there are currently. Texas currently has 25 Republicans and 13 Democrats for their 38 seats. That's 65% Republican. That's very close to what Donald Trump got in Texas. That's fairly representative of the state. I think he won by, I think he got 60 or 59%. So it's not exact. It's maybe 5 points off. But representative, percentage-wise, that's accurate. Very close to accurate. And Texas is like, well, wait a second. We've got all these seats. And in California and New York and Illinois, they're screwing us over big time with gerrymandering and redistricting. We need to do it too. Here's the cold, hard facts. These people wanted to complain, so they held a news conference in Illinois. The basis of their complaint about Texas redistricting, the Democrats, was to stand up at a news conference in Illinois and complain about how they're going to do things in Texas. Illinois, 83% of their seats are Democrats. Yet Trump got 46% of the vote in Illinois. You see where I'm going here? It's 14-3 in Illinois. Democrats to Republicans. In California, it's just as bad. See if this number sounds right. How about 83% in California? 43 Democrats, 9 Republicans. 83% on the dot, exactly. Trump got 41% of the vote in California, but only 17% of the representatives in the House. New York, not quite as bad. They're 75% Democrat to Republican. And it's a little bit more like Missouri. That's kind of roughly where Missouri is. I just think if they've done this everywhere and it's already been done, we're playing catch up. This is not something nefarious going on by Texas Republicans. And it's not even anything nefarious in Missouri. If they can squeak out one more seat, these red states kind of have an obligation to do this because we've been done in these other places. California is such a fraud. They're counting people out there in the census that are not citizens. And they're getting representatives in the House because of it. California is a cesspool for cheating for Democrats. It is ground zero. Again, there are 43 Democrat representatives from California. That's insane. 43 from one state. Yeah, and you're going to complain about what Texas is going to do. How in the world California has 52 seats and Texas has 38 is beyond me. We know why. They're counting all the illegals in the census. It's millions and millions of people that are not supposed to be able to vote in federal elections being counted and appropriated seats in the House of Representatives. You see, this is what the Republicans have done for a long time. We react. Trump's always said he's a counterpuncher. He's the best counterpuncher I've ever seen. Because when he counterpunches, he knocks you out. He knocks you off your feet, your game's over. He catches you in what you're doing and it ends it. That's what this is. Folks, this whole thing is a counterpunch. And if Mike Keel wants to get on board in Missouri and can squeak one more seat out of Missouri, let's go. I'm sorry for the people of the state of Missouri. It doesn't sound fair. The percentages do not add up. It doesn't look like democracy, but this has already been done where the other states are controlled by the Democrats. And it's overwhelming with 83% of the representatives in Illinois and California being Democrats. You have to punch back. This is a fight worth fighting. It's an ugly part of the American democracy, if you will, our constitutional republic. It's an ugly part of it. But if you control the state and it's legal by law to move the borders around and gerrymander, if that's what you want to call it, and get more seats for your party, well, we know this. California, Illinois, and New York have been really good at it for a long time. I'm old enough to remember when California was red. And now it's the bluest of blue with illegal aliens, if you can imagine, being counted in the census, getting representatives. They got their own representatives. It basically goes like this, folks. There are members of Congress that are solely there in the House of Representatives because they are representing illegal aliens. That ultimately is what this has come down to. And you're telling me Texas can't fight back? Or Missouri can't squeeze one more out? Man, I'm all in on this fight. I say go for it. This is politics. This is different. And it is legal. And they know it's legal. And Gavin Newsom's now running around saying, oh, well, we're going to do that in California. You can't do it anymore in California. You've rigged California in such a ridiculous way. There's nothing better you can do there. You're 43-9 or something, 43-9. And you shouldn't have 52. You're cheating to get 52. You have 43 representatives in your state, and you say you're going to be mad and do something different because of Texas? Texas is at 66%. 65% Republicans over Democrats with their House reps. California's 83. It's already been done to Texas. Go get the other 5, get up there where California is, and let's just call it fair. Thank you for showing us the way. We will follow your lead. We love that. 913-408-7957 is the number to call. If you'd like to join us on the broadcast, we'd love to hear from you today. What are your thoughts on that fight? You in or out on that one? 913, it feels dirty. Of course it feels dirty. It feels like it shouldn't be legal. But if it is legal and they've done it to us, it's time to do it back. 913-408-7957. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. Be listening at 1045 today. We're going to give away tickets to see Alabama at Thunder Ridge Nature Arena near Branson on August 21st. You'll win 2 tickets, and Pat Green is playing that night as well. We will give you the keyword at 1045, and then you text us for your chance to win. We'll be doing that at 1045. You want to see Alabama and Pat Green at Thunder Ridge Nature Arena near Branson, August 21st. To the phones we go on Uncanceled today. Here is Mark in Shawnee. Good morning, Mark. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Kevin. I'm doing okay, and I wanted to thanks for taking my call and appreciate the subject matter. And I got to tell you, I agree with you 100%. We have to look at how we can get more people involved in pushing for the same things the Democrats have done. There was actually, Mark Levin talked about this census, that the blue states were overcounted, and they said that they did that. You listen to Jasmine Crockett, she refers to Trump as a piece of crap, only it was something worse than, it's just a different word for it. And then you think about Elizabeth Warren standing up for Mandani, and we've got another socialist in Minnesota. This is really critical that we use every tool that we can to fight this lunacy, and I agree with you 100%.
Yes, even the New York Times, and it was muted the way they said it, but they said it. They said the map right now of U.S. House of Representatives is unfairly advantaged to the Democrats at this point based on the popular vote of the last election. There should be a much wider gap of Republicans in the House than there is. We know this thing's been rigged for the Democrats forever. Let's get rid of it. And the big one, the absolute big one, is we've got to have proof of citizenship to vote in a federal election. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what state you're in. If you're voting for a Congress member or Senate or President of the United States, you're going to have to prove you're a citizen. We have got to get to that point.
I agree with you 100%. It's really sad to think that you can't get the Democratic Party to say that it's very critical that we show proof of ID and citizenship before we vote. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, and to think that's the party that wants to control America.
Yeah, and they say Trump's the end of democracy as we know it, and he's Hitler. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. Great call as always, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Yeah, no, I'm all for the redistricting and getting this done and getting illegals out of the census. What does it matter? There's just no way illegal aliens should have any impact on the number of representatives you have from your state. It's just, it's comical. You can't make, it's so absolutely absurd and ridiculous. You just can't hardly stand it. It's terrible. We got some great news here for ICE. They announced they're going to do $50,000 bonuses for immigrations and customs enforcement and student loan repayments or forgiveness, enhanced overtime, upgraded benefits and insurance and retirement. They announced this not long ago. And they've just announced this in the last couple of weeks. They have 78,000 new applicants for the first 10,000 jobs. This is what you want. You want to talk about merit-based? You got an 8-to-1 ratio? Applicants to positions? you're going to find the best. You're going to find some really good people. Now, I said what I thought was going to happen when you started offering these bonuses would there'd be a lot of people who've maybe been a police officer for 20 years. They've got their pension. They're maybe, 42, 44 years old or something like that. And it's time to move on. Get this bonus, maybe pay off my house or wipe out all of our debt or anything that we have and go do this new venture and go rack up a bunch of federal benefits. And this is just an unbelievable opportunity for people in local, municipal, or county law enforcement to make a shift to federal and double dip on your pensions. This is a great opportunity. This is the time of their lifetime to go do something like this. I love it because it shows the seriousness, and I love it because we saw this story in Kansas City last week where the media jumped all over the ICE raid on the Mexican restaurants when it was an investigative team. And what we learned was they were apprehending illegal aliens that are indentured servants. Did you know we have indentured servants in the United States? Look up the definition of indentured servant. It's a simple concept. You owe me something. And since you don't have what it is that you owe me, you have to work for me for free or for way under what the going rate is. Indentured servitude. I'm going to guess there's hundreds of thousands of people in the United States doing this right now. If there's 11 of them right by my house at one Mexican restaurant, this is it, maybe into the millions of illegals that are here that don't really want to be here. They're here working off their debt. They're here doing something to protect their family. They're here doing something they don't want to do, and they're essentially slave labor. They're doing it for nothing because there's a gun to their head and they have to do it. So when you have that sort of a situation, and we need to ramp this up, get more ICE agents, more Homeland Security employees, let's get this right, man. Let's treat this like it's a 3.5-year window left. There's nothing taken for granted that this is all going to work and J.D. Vance is the next president. I mean, it looks good right now, certainly, but you cannot take any of this stuff for granted. You have to treat this like it's 3.5 years to get it right, clean the whole thing up. And that includes some sort of a national election qualification that you must show citizenship to vote when you vote somehow, some way. So we can't have illegals there. All these states want to have illegals voting. California wants to do it. They're doing it in local elections. They want to do it. We have to have that. Obviously, we've got the border closed. That's step one. We've done that. We're at 0 crossings right now. That's done. And we believe millions have left, a lot on their own. Some we're sending home. It's just growing and growing and growing. There's a lot of self-deportation taking place. These are all good starts and good things, but we got to finish the job. This thing has to be done completely and across the board. And it all just goes hand in hand. And I just think it was an unbelievable when that big, beautiful bill passed that there's this much money in there to have these bonuses for these ICE agents to go get hired and find the best of the best. If they've got almost 80,000 have applied so far, they're going to get another 50,000 in the next couple of weeks, right? I mean, everybody's signing up wanting these jobs for a $50,000 bonus and student loan forgiveness. If you have that, it's all there. Federal benefits now instead of if you've been in law enforcement, the local. I love this. I also love Trump today. He was on CNBC. This is just the kind of thing. This will garner some headlines from the left because this one just drives them crazy. The dude on there on CNBC is a pretty conservative guy. It's a finance channel. It's a business channel. But he's on there, and he's got Trump on as his guest, and they're talking about tariffs and such. And then he asks, are you considering running for a third term in 2028? And Trump said he probably won't run again, but won't rule it out. Just to mess with him, which is just so the spirit of all this, because they are so mad and so incensed by everything and outraged. Just go ahead and poke fun. Have a little fun with him. Keep saying it. I probably won't run in 2028. When we come back, how little you know about what goes on around the rest of the world compared to here. I've got an unbelievable story next on KCMO. Okay, there are always examples of how little we know about the rest of the world because we live in our own bubble here in the United States of America. It's a wonderful bubble. It's a great sea that we all swim in. We love the United States. But boy, we see some stuff around the world that we just don't understand. And you know what a lot of this is. We don't understand hunger in Africa. We don't understand, women can't drive in Saudi Arabia. I think they can now. There's just so many things you're just like, what in the world? That's still going on somewhere on this planet? You're kidding me. Because we're advanced. we're civil, even though it doesn't sound like it sometimes, the way we talk to each other in this country. And we have an unbelievable sweet spot in the United States for our pets. I'm guilty of this. Actually, I'm proud of this. I love my dog as much as I love anyone or anything. It's a trait. People who don't get it, don't get it. I don't apologize for it. I am who I am. I'm a dog guy, and I love my dog. Don't mess with my dog. You're going to have a problem with me. But the country that runs Greenland that Trump is talking about taking over is Denmark. You know Greenland. You remember all that Greenland stuff? Greenland needs us now more than ever. Here's the people that are running them. In Denmark, a zoo is asking the public to donate their pets, particularly chickens, rabbits, and guinea pigs, so they can feed them to the zoo's predators. Aalborg Zoo, in a statement, quote, "In zoos, we have a responsibility to imitate the natural food chain of these animals in terms of both animal welfare and professional integrity. The request is creating quite a backlash online, with many disagreeing with this practice. The zoo said their purpose of the program is to make sure nothing goes to waste and ensure natural behavior, nutrition, and the well-being of our predators." Oh, they want it all. They want it all. ABC News has reached out to Aalborg Zoo for comment and hasn't gotten one other than the statement. This is unbelievable. The zoo has also said they would accept larger animals like horses, which they would euthanize and slaughter for food, though they said the zoo's needs vary throughout the year and there may be a waiting list. A waiting list? I can't believe this story. The more you read, the worse it gets. The practice is not unheard of in Denmark. In 2014, the Copenhagen Zoo garnered attention on social media when they killed in their own zoo. They killed a healthy giraffe and fed it to the predators. Now, can you imagine the Kansas City Zoo killing a giraffe? Oh, let's take little Johnny to the zoo today, and little Mary, here we go. Oh, family day at the zoo. What are they doing with the giraffe? Well, they're walking him out on a leash. They're going to put him down, and then they're going to carve him up and throw him to the lions. Ah! What?
I took a field trip to the zoo when I was a kid, and I saw a giraffe being born, actually. It was absolutely crazy.
That's what the zoo's about. You got all the little urchins running around. We got to protect these kids. Do you want them to know that, well, I got too many horses out there. I can't afford to feed all these horses anymore. Let's drop a couple off at the zoo and let them get fed to the lions. Oh, my God. This is unbelievable. 4 lions, including 2 cubs, were also euthanized in Denmark several weeks later to make room for a new male lion. Oh, we got Big Daddy coming in. So they killed 4 other lions, including 2 babies. Who are these people? Here's a quote from the zoo. "If you have an animal that has to leave here for various reasons, feel free to donate it to us." I mean, if that doesn't get you going, I don't know what. There's not one mention in there of dogs or cats, but they'd take them, I guarantee you. That's what. They're not doing interviews. They're not answering questions. They put a statement out. But the first question is, will you accept dogs or cats? I mean, I understand how nature works. And I know that the predators out there on the Serengeti are tearing up all kinds of animals and eating for dinner. That's a little different than, wow, my guinea pigs just had babies. I think I'll drop them off at the zoo and let them get eaten. God. We think we know the rest of the world. We only know our world. That's absolutely true. I don't know if Patrick or Pete got on this one yesterday. Probably. The soccer fan in St. Louis at the St. Louis City game over the weekend. A soccer fan in St. Louis at MLS game got kicked out for wearing a MAGA hat.
I think they missed this one.
Oh, really?
This is the first time I think we've talked about this.
Okay. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. I played it on my podcast yesterday, the audio of him, because he videotaped the whole thing being kicked out. What was crazy was the security guys that came to kick him out were all MAGA. They're like, dude, we voted for Trump. We voted for Trump. It's a rule. We can't have political banners or signs in the stadium. And he turns his camera toward the other section where there's about 15 flags flying. He says, what about those flags? There's like pride flags and things flying over there.
Oh, yeah.
And
they
the
have
guy,
those at the sporting games as well.
of course. And the guy responded, those are pre-approved. Okay, so we'll pre-approve the flags over there. What happens if I call St. Louis City Soccer Club and say, I want to wear my MAGA hat? Will you pre-approve that? What do I get, a special card? They booted him out, and he got through the concourse and to the gate, and then the Trump guy that was taking him out said, well, if you take it off, we'll let you go back in. And then a police officer was standing there and said, no, we're past that point. You're leaving tonight for one game. And then the guy was pretty good. It was almost like he was a social media influencer. He started talking to the camera. He goes, this is what happens at a St. Louis City game. My name is blah, 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 whatever my name is. And they will not let you wear a MAGA hat at the game. That's unbelievable. And he was getting booed on his way out. Like the fans were so liberal around him, they were triggered. So these crazy liberals at a soccer match went complaining to security and said, that's against team rules, booed him. We're triggered by his hat. Can you imagine going for a night of soccer, enjoying yourself, and it's got you bothered that somebody has a red Trump hat on? Like, can you ever imagine going to a sporting event and seeing a Kamala shirt or a Biden whatever, and saying, oh, I can't deal with this. I got to go tell security. Can you imagine that's your life?
I was even thinking, I think the St. Louis City team is red, so I think it even makes sense for him to wear a red hat.
Yeah, I think now you say it, he had red all over him, yeah. It fit right in. I just don't ever want to be the person that somebody's words or what they're wearing is so offensive to me they got to go. There were times when I had children and we'd go to an event and we'd see somebody with an offensive shirt. I'm talking about offensive, not talking about political. I'm talking about offensive. You know, a giant middle finger or... My kids weren't on this trip, but I went to Fenway one time for a Yankees-Red Sox game. And Red Sox fans wear T-shirts that literally say, take your 27 rings and shove them up your blanking A-word. And they walk around. They're not one. I must have seen 10. So, yeah, if I had my 10-year-old with me that day, that would have been a little uncomfortable. We'd have moved away from those people because that's just, But that's free speech at Fenway, or at least it was then, many years ago. I just hate to think that I would ever see anybody with something political on and go, well, that's going to ruin my night. I came here to watch the Chiefs play, but there's a Kamala T-shirt over there. I can't do this. We got to turn that person in and get them booted out. They got a bad policy. They absolutely missed on their policy. The media inquired on this, and their policy has to do with banners and signs. It doesn't say anything about clothing. So I don't know if they're changing their policy to clothing or whether they're going to allow clothing. If he'd been holding up a Trump sign, that's not allowed. I get it. So what about waving an American flag? Right now, most people would think that's pretty MAGA. Don't you think if you asked a liberal, is the American flag a sign of MAGA, they'd mostly say yes? What do you think, Mark? You agree with that?
I don't know if it's that far, but just because there's MAGA flags. But yeah, okay. I don't know.
The separate flags.
Yeah.
I don't have the studies on me, but you know, if you fly a flag outside your house, you are like 60% less likely to get your house broken into. They assume if flag's flying, there's guns in there. Lots of them. I'm like, well, why don't we just fly NRA flags around our house? Put up a bunch of cameras and fly NRA flags, baby. Don't tread on me. You know, those things. It's fantastic, the things that we can do out there. Yeah. Okay. Fantasy football punishment. Did we get to that on Friday? I feel like we did this.
There's been so many good ones out there. I don't know which one this is.
Dave Portnoy's jumped on it from Barstool Sports, but he didn't come up with the idea, but he jumped on it over the weekend. Mm-hmm. I definitely know that I talked with several friends over the weekend about this, and it may have been on my podcast Friday, but I'm not sure we mentioned it here or not. If you lose your fantasy football league, the viral trend going around right now on social media, you get punished. Like it used to be you had to do 5 fireball shots, or you got to put on a dress and go shoot free throws in the park, or something embarrassing. You finished last out of 12 teams in your fantasy league. We're going to embarrass you. But they like to do the embarrassment normally around, generally speaking, a beer drinking night. The guys are going to get together. You got to buy beers for everybody. So this is the first punishment. It's going viral and everybody's going to do it. You will buy beers for all of us at the end of the year, upon which we will grade you through ChatGPT on Kamala Harris's book. You have to read the entire book. And you will be quizzed, and we're not reading it, but ChatGPT is going to score your answers. You have to read the entire book, 107 Days by Kamala Harris.
Oof.
That's the best.
That'll be a rough one.
That's the best punishment ever. But you know what? She's going to sell some books because of this. The loser's going to have to go buy that book in January, and then you'll have to read it. There's no faking it. There's no Cliff's Notes version to Kamala's book, although you could probably do it in 30 pages instead of 500. I think it's like 500 pages. It's a Bible, man. It's huge.
It's going to be a lot of drivel.
Oh, my God. I can't even imagine how painful that will be to lose your fantasy football league and get stuck with that one. But I love that punishment. I also like this story. They come out every year with a poll of the hottest housing markets. And the hottest place in America right now is Beverly, Massachusetts. I assume that's near Boston somewhere. And I think this is for prices, the fewest days on the market, resale, things like that. Number 4 zip code in America is 63021. That is Baldwin, Missouri. That is the western part of St. Louis. And I think it's growing. I think they're building a lot of new houses there. Generally speaking, and they said this about this story, this has to do with a lot of places that are building new homes. So there's more and more homes being built, so there's more for sale and getting sold. But the western part of St. Louis, the number 4 zip code in America. Don't know that I'd have guessed that. Kind of makes me want to visit Baldwin. Must be a nice place right there in the western suburbs of St. Louis. It's not off I-70. It's a little more to the south than that. I never realized driving into St. Louis that when you're driving in on I-70 from Kansas City, you're really kind of coming in from the north. That those last 30 miles or so, you're making a big turn and heading south. I-70 is not a straight shot. Not a straight shot. Baldwin, Missouri, congratulations. The Vince Show is coming up in just a couple of moments. He's going to have the big story of the day, and that is James Comer and his House Oversight Committee with 10 new subpoenas. These are regarding the Epstein, depositions. That's what these would be at this point, is Epstein depositions. There is no, we always use the term Epstein files, whatever. But October 9th, they've subpoenaed Hillary Clinton to be there. October 14th, Bill Clinton. Others include Merrick Garland, Jim Comey, Bill Barr, Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, Robert Mueller. Subpoena. 10 of them on this hit list. This is great because I don't know if Trump set this trap. I don't know how this is going to end, but it sure looks like they might have set a trap here. Because when you've got the power and you're in charge, and somehow you've worked the other side into a frenzy demanding you do something about something that your party didn't do anything about the last 4 years, I mean, that's just downright stupid on their part. So here we go. I don't know. There's presidential immunity here. Bill Clinton. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know who's going to show up. I don't know who's going to plead the fifth. I don't know if this is going to be on TV. I don't know if it's closed doors. House Oversight Committee, it might be behind closed doors, which they've been doing with some of these other ones. But that is a big story that's just broken here in the last hour and a half or so. James Comer announcing 10 new subpoenas regarding Jeffrey Epstein, and it is the hit list. All right, surely somebody yesterday did something on Fan Appreciation Day at the Portland Pickles.
No, I love that story, though.
John knows it.
John knows it.
Did Pete do it yesterday? Nobody did this yesterday?
I don't think so.
The Portland Pickles are a minor league baseball team. And they had Fan Appreciation Night. And I'm not convinced this is legit, okay? I mean, you look at this thing, like, I'm not sure.
I wondered about that as well.
They're going to randomly pick a guy out of the stands and let him bat. It's a independent minor league game. Great. Okay, so they pick this dude out of the stand. He looks like he's maybe, 20, 22 years old?
Yeah.
Great.
It'd be like somebody going to the Monarchs game, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
He's in street clothes. They give him the Bat Boys jersey, and he buttons a couple buttons and goes up to the plate. His first time up, I think he walked or something, got on, stole a base, and scored. And people went wild. They're like, he got on base and he scored. And he's like, woo, he's like rally man, having a great time. He comes up then in the 6th inning. Dude hits a home run. And it was a no-doubter, Mark. He nailed it.
It was impressive. I saw that video.
Smashed it. And as I looked at the video, I felt like it was a Savannah Bananas moment because I thought the pitcher was in on it. He just laid it in there.
Yeah.
He didn't throw it very hard.
To see if you could hit it, yeah.
Right. It's like I'm not ruining my career by a fan in the stands hitting one. He does. The place goes wild. The announcer goes wild. Everything's crazy. Then after it became this social media thing over 2 days, I think, really big, they decided yesterday to sign, his name is Dixie. They've assigned him to a one-day contract, so he's going to play a full game now. That's just to sell tickets. Why wouldn't you?
That's so fun for him and for the fans, I feel like.
He clearly was some sort of a baseball player.
Yeah.
Now, it also could have been random, I said on my podcast, look, they weren't going to pull my 92-year-old mom out of the stands for Fan Appreciation Night to hit, all right? They were looking for somebody to go up there and make it fairly interesting.
A young buck, maybe a young, sexy guy?
This is one hot, sexy young man.
That was Kevin from a few days ago. Yeah. I saved it. Yes, I did.
Oh, that was the guy in the Duncan commercial, wasn't it?
Yes, that was him.
He is. I'm not gonna. He's better looking than Sidney Sweeney. He is. I'm just. He is. I'm comfortable enough I can say that.
We appreciate that about you.
If you were a dude, if you were a dude, would you rather look like him, or if you were a girl, would you rather look like Sidney Sweeney? That's it. That's all I would ask you. That's all. Mic drop. That's all I'd ask you. I can't wait to see what happens. So I guess the guy's going to play tonight, maybe. They've signed him to a one-day contract. We'll see. Mark Van Sickle, right in your wheelhouse, buddy. Did you know the Kansas City Chiefs are favored in every game this year?
I did see that. I'm a little surprised by the Bills game, though.
Okay. That game's in Buffalo?
I think so.
Yeah. So here's how hard it is in the NFL. There's 17 games. The Chiefs are favored in all of them, which means absolutely nothing other than what gamblers will perceive going into games. The Chiefs' season total is 11.5 wins. So Vegas is asking, will they win 11 games or 12? But they're favored in 17.
Yeah, you got to find which games and then take the other team on the spread there.
I think it's way too early for us to do preseason prediction on wins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could take the Chiefs over right now in this division.
12 wins?
I mean, they went 15-1 last year before they played the Rummies.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. But they blocked one against the Broncos. They seem to not get lucky. They know how to win. There's something to that. And Andy can coach. They do the right things at the end. But, man, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to take, based on what they've been, you have to take the over. But I feel like maybe that's going to be a lot harder. In Seattle, your favorite hockey team, right? The Kraken, is that your team?
Yeah, the Seattle Kraken. That's my team.
Did you see what they have a Kraken week?
I did not see that.
They have a Kraken week where they have a youth hockey camp they go to Alaska.
Okay.
It's involved with hockey. Then they take them fly fishing, and they do all these things that you do in Alaska. I think it's relatively expensive. Some players go, kids get to interact, and the mascot goes.
Oh, the mascot's awesome.
The mascot almost got eaten by a bear.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Bowie?
Oh, they're fishing.
Not Bowie.
Oh, they're standing there fly fishing in the bay. And Bowie's out there, and the big brown bear comes into the water. He's like, I know who the humans are. I see them all the time doing their thing, right? What is that? And the brown bear's like, whoa. And he's going to go check it out. And they're like, okay, everybody out of the water. Let's go. There's a brown bear coming. But the brown bear was doing the little move like, I'm not so sure. Like he'd get close
scared?
and then back off. Like, I don't know what that is. Brown bears know everything in their environment until the Kraken mascot shows up.
Love it.
It's a pretty cool mascot. Nobody was hurt. There was no scrum. But that bear was almost as scared of the Kraken as vice versa. The Vince Show is up next. Thanks for listening to Uncanceled.